So I suck at public speaking, and that's suck with a capital S-U-C-K. Last week I did a presentation in my class, and it was on healing and trauma and basically our society in general. And it was so interesting because it was a topic that I was interested in. I studied, I read, I did everything I was supposed to do, and I was prepared for the presentation. But when I went up there, all I could think about was what the people staring at me were thinking, and how they might be judging me, and how they don't understand what I'm saying, and how I wasn't speaking properly, and what if I mess up my words, and what if I this and that. And you know what happened? My mind went blank, and I was literally just standing there like, hold on, hold on, I'm gonna show you how I was standing there. That's how I was standing there. And I mean, it got better. I eventually came back and I did the rest of my presentation, and to be honest, now that it's a couple days away, it wasn't the worst thing on earth. It's a school presentation. Of course, there's people facing genocide and death out there, and I bet anyone would prefer messing up their speech or presentation over literal genocide. But in the moment, it felt like I was dying. There's this study. I don't know who it's by. I'm gonna find out who it's by and add a clip of who it's by because I like to do my research. But there's this study, and it's proven by multiple researchers and scientists and doctors and proctors that people fear public speaking more than dying. And why is that? We care more about what people think of us than our lives, basically. And like, for me, I feel like I'm on a different end of the spectrum because I like to talk to people. I love talking to people. I love understanding, getting in people's brains and understanding why they do what they do. But at the same time, I don't want to be judged. I don't think anyone wants to be judged. But judgment is a part of life. For example, me, I judge people unintentionally. You judge people unintentionally. If you see somebody wearing a ugly shirt, you're in your mind, you might not say anything. You're trying to be nice. You might be like, oh, cool outfit, but in your mind you're like, why are they wearing that shirt? I know we all are guilty of it. It doesn't make us the worst person on earth. We're all guilty of it, okay? But when it happens to us, when it happens to me, like, don't you dare say nothing about my sweater. Don't you dare say anything about my fit, about my Hollister top, my bootleg Lululemon tracksuit. Don't you dare say anything. And if you say something, it's the end of the world. I'm gonna die. What up? Can I say die on YouTube? Help, I said die like 10 times. Do I need to like bleep that out? But yeah, so why in our brains do we take that so seriously? And that's why I love that's why I love that I'm studying social work. It's so crazy. It's like a full turnaround because like I messed up my presentation, but at the same time I get to learn and grow. And that's why like even our sufferings, there's a quote in the Bible that says like rejoice in your sufferings, because like our sufferings help us grow. Every time we do good in life, I mean, yes, people clap for us, we're like, yay, good job, and our ego's like boosted. But when we mess up, that's when we truly get to sit down and be like, hey, what did I do wrong here? Or what can I improve on here? You can't do that when you do everything right. And that's why I love that as humans, we're not perfect. And we're not called to be perfect. I feel like trying to be perfect is one of the biggest flaws, because when you try to be perfect, you're basically hiding who you truly are. No one's perfect but Jesus Christ. And he is up in heaven, up in heaven, up in heaven. And although we're called to try to be a good person and try to be like Jesus, we're gonna fall short because we're human. You know, we're all human. And I feel like instead of trying to hide that part of us that makes us who we are, we should just embrace it and learn from it. Because living on this earth is just a learning journey. No matter how young, how itty bitty teeny you are, or how grown you are, you should never stop learning. Because there's always something new to learn. And to say you know everything, I feel like it just stops you from becoming who you truly are meant to be, or like reaching your fullest potential. So I'm up here to tell you I messed up my presentation at school, and because of that, I am now able to, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna mess up another presentation in my life, but I'm now able to grow. And even though I messed up, I know that I'm still loved by God, because our love from God, and in general, love isn't something that you work for. It's something that you just receive. It's not something you work for. Yeah. And if someone really loves you, they'll tell you the truth. But people don't, wait, help. What am I saying? Guys, help. What am I saying? When someone loves you, they won't be afraid to correct you out of love. However, someone who loves you will not leave you when you make a mistake. That's what I was trying to, that was to put it on a pillow, put it on a board, put on some socks and sell it to me on Christmas Day. That's what I wanted to say. Also, I didn't tell you guys, I wrote a poem about this because I was so sad. The day I messed up my presentation, I was just crying. I was so sad. I felt like it was the end of the world. But I wrote a poem about it. A poem. I'm gonna read the poem to you. Okay, give me a second. Let me pull up my screen so I can read the poem to you. Okay, guys, new angle. Oh, you're falling. I'm gonna read to you the poem. I didn't come up with a title for this poem yet, but yeah, I wrote this poem because I was sad about my presentation and I wanted to literally change myself about because I messed up my presentation. I said, flower, don't see your petals as a flaw and pick them out one by one till there's nothing left, just to be something left. Add the applause, please. Isn't that such a pretty poem? I wouldn't have written that poem if I didn't mess up my presentation. And that's another thing, because beauty comes from everything. I feel like for me, a lot of the most beautiful things that I've experienced or created has come because of the hard things I've gone through, or because of the stuff that I stick through in life. Yes, and that was one of the pretty things that came out of that. So yeah, I suck, S-U-C-K, capital S-U-C-K, at public speaking. Even though I'm technically I'm social media speaking right now. Big difference. I suck at public speaking, but I still made it through. And I'm proud of myself for trying, and I wrote a beautiful poem. And if you messed something up today, just know that you're not alone, and it's okay because you're human and it's okay to make mistakes, and you'll do better next time. There'll always be a next time. As long as we're alive, there's always a next time. So yeah, that's all. Yeah, I love you. I'm gonna blow you a kiss. Give you a hug. And I'm gonna twirl in a circle. Hold on, this chair isn't turning. Yes, but I'll see you in my next video. Bye.